The maker of OxyContin agrees to pay Oklahoma millions, an update on Jussie Smollett's court charges, and a health crisis that affects more Oklahomans every year. This is OU Nightly. Thanks for joining us for OU Nightly. I'm Tori King.
And I'm Storme Jones. We begin tonight with a major development in our state's lawsuit against opioid manufacturers.
Purdue Pharma has agreed to pay $270 million to settle a historic lawsuit brought by Oklahoma's Attorney General.
And this is before the lawsuit ever went to court. OU Nightly's Alex Antonides is live with details. Alex.
Thanks, guys. The Purdue company, the makers of the opioids, have settled with the state of Oklahoma and its Attorney General Mike Hunter today. Now, in the suit, Mike Hunter alleges that the leading makers of pain medications in the U.S. use deceptive marketing techniques that have led to the opioid epidemic in the state, and more than $200 million will go to fund a new addiction treatment and research center at OSU Tulsa, and another $70 million will go back to pay Oklahoma cities and counties for litigation. Finally, the Slacker family, who owns the company but were never defendants in the case, will donate $15 million a year in personal funds over a 5-year span to addiction centers.
Utilizing the successful model that you have fostered here at the Center for Wellness and Recovery and expanding it through this endowment will truly create a national center for addiction treatment and research.
Now, there were 36 other states who brought cases against Purdue Company, but none of them ever made it to trial, and now Oklahoma will never make it to trial. Reporting live in Norman, Alex Antonides, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Alex. Another big story we're following this afternoon, the House fails to overturn President Trump's first veto. Talon Forbis is in the News Center with details on the outcome. Talon?
Today, the House representatives were unable to override the president's veto, and the result is that the national emergency declaration to fund border security will go forward.
The yeas are 248 and the nays are 181. 2/3 not being in the affirmative, the veto of the president is sustained.
As you can see, 14 Republicans joined the Democrats on the vote. However, this was still not enough to get a 2/3 majority needed for an override. The National Emergency Act would allow another chance to vote on this decision every 6 months. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said the Democrats intend to bring it up again. And in Chicago, prosecutors dropped charges against Empire actor Jussie Smollett. He was accused of staging a hate crime against himself. The mayor later expressed his disapproval on today's decision.
He used the laws of the hate crime legislation that all of us collectively over years have put on the books to stand up to be the values that embody what we believe in. This is a whitewash of justice.
The Cook County State Attorney's Office announced that all 16 felony accounts against Smollett were dropped. After the 5-minute hearing, Judge Steve Watkins sealed the case. And unvaccinated children are banned from all public spaces in New York County. Rockland County is currently battling its largest measles outbreak in decades, and the ban could help in this fight.
Anyone who is under 18 years of age and is unvaccinated against the measles will be barred from public places until the declaration expires in 30 days or until they receive at least their first shot of MMR.
135 cases of measles have been confirmed since October, and county officials want this trend to end. That is it from News Center. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Talon.
It's been a nice and sunny day outside, Storm. I didn't even need a jacket this morning.
No, it has, Tori. It's been a great day so far, and Trey is here to let us know how long that warm weather will stick around.
Yeah, guys, spring is here to stay, at least for the next several days. It's mild outside right now, 65 degrees here in Norman, 60s pretty much statewide. Southerly winds in the west and light northerly winds in the east. That's due to a high pressure system centered over southeastern Kansas, causing that clockwise spin of winds. So heading forward, a warm up is in progress over the next several days. Temperatures will continue to rise. Severe weather is in the forecast, and a late spring cool down is in store as well. Back to you at the desk.
All right, thanks, Trey. Looking forward to that full forecast. The city of Norman is losing its police chief. Keith Humphrey is headed to Little Rock, Arkansas to be that city's next chief of police. An emotional Humphrey described the job as a dream come true and says he plans to stay in Arkansas long term. He takes over a department in the midst of problems surrounding an officer-involved shooting in February. Humphrey has been chief in Norman since 2011.
I want to thank the city of Norman. If not for the city of Norman, I don't know if I would have been prepared to take this job, and it's just been amazing. I've got to thank the city of Norman for the opportunity.
The city of Norman has not yet named an interim police chief.
And with an election only a week away, Norman could see improvements to its roads, water quality, and flood control. OU Nightly's Eddy has a look at that April 2nd bond and utility election in hopes to address this upcoming election.
Next Tuesday, voters will decide on a transportation bond, stormwater bond, and stormwater utility.
Proposition 1 includes a transportation bond. If approved, the city would see widening and reconstruction of roads, new traffic signals, and improvement to stormwater drainage systems. It's a $139 million investment in Norman's transportation infrastructure. It does not increase taxes. Proposition 2 includes a stormwater bond. If this proposition were passed, it would address flooding and water pollution issues for Norman. It's a $60 million general obligation bond. It would increase taxes approximately $5.25 a month for an average Norman property owner. Proposition 3 includes the stormwater utility. If approved, the city would obtain equipment necessary, such as street sweepers and a camera truck. This needs an annual $7.4 million budget. The impact to the utility bill would vary based on area.
They say this proposal is caused by Norman's aging infrastructure. Eddy, OU Nightly.
A bill to ban vaping in public schools moves forward. Up next, what that proposed law could mean for students who get caught.
Plus, Oklahoma legislators consider a bill that would ban fees on a product most grocery stores use. Find out what it is when OU Nightly continues.
Many schools already don't allow vaping, but OU Nightly's Taitum Wilson has details on how one bill moving through the Oklahoma legislature could soon make it illegal. Taitum.
Storme and Tori, Senate Bill 33 unanimously passed out of the House Common Education Committee today. The measure adds to the Tobacco-Free Schools Act, prohibiting the use of vaping products on state school grounds, whether they have nicotine or not. GOP Representative Mark Van Kuren, who co-authored the bill, says enforcement of the vaping ban will be up to individual school districts. In December, the U.S. Surgeon General called vaping among youth an epidemic. Last year, 1 in 5 high school students and 1 in 20 middle school students used e-cigarettes. The bill now moves to the full House. And a small panel of lawmakers agree the State Office of Management and Enterprise Services should be split in two. If passed, Senate Bill 227 would make the OMES Information Technology Services Division its own agency. This comes after OMES asked the legislature for an emergency $16 million to avoid furloughs, blaming increasing IT costs for the shortfall. The measure has already passed the state Senate. A final vote is expected in the House next month or in May. Oklahoma lawmakers are considering a bill that would prevent cities and towns from placing fees on single-use plastic and paper bags. The measure, authored by Republican Senator James Leewright, was proposed as leaders in Norman consider a 5-cent fee on single-use bags in an effort to cut down on litter and pollution. At least 4 other states are looking into similar laws, and Storme and Tori, 11 states, including Texas, already have legislation in place that bans local governments from imposing fees or taxes on bags. Back to you at the desk.
All right, thank you, Taitum, for tracking that bill.
Well, working out, brushing your hair, and getting at least 8 hours of sleep are all good habits to staying healthy.
But what about taking care of your mental health? Without mental health, there's no health at all. OU Nightly's Cassidy Mudd reports.
It's a crisis, and the victims are invisible to us. Mental health. This year, Oklahoma saw an increase of suicide rates by more than 30%. Leading the nation as one of the worst states for mental health help and awareness. One of those invisible victims is Courtney Patterson. As an active leader and passionate student, not many would suspect so much behind closed doors.
When you're going through things, it's so important for you to tell somebody about it, because I feel like a lot of people don't say anything about it.
Just because someone presented like okay and like happy and joking around all the time, it meant they were okay, when really they could have been suffering in silence.
The release of Courtney's new book, Black and Bitter, spurred the discussion which led to last night's panel. Students, teachers, and members of the community had the opportunity to listen to the author's experiences and ask questions to find a solution. Courtney Iabi's story is not unlike anyone else's. Unspoken.
We live in a society, we learn that it's okay to keep things smaller. We learn that it's okay to think this is weird or think that's unacceptable, but we have to like unlearn those habits and create new habits.
Although the university has said it's committed to finding resources for the OU community, students and faculty are still left wondering what's next for help for mental health.
And OU students and faculty are encouraged to reach out to Goddard's Counseling Center on OU's campus for those resources.
And coming up, OU Gender and Equality Center sets out to host a first ever event. Details on how OU will celebrate Trans Awareness Week coming up.
And Trey is with us for a look at today's warmer weather and what to expect for the rest of the week. Trey?
Yeah, guys, warmer weather is on the way, but so are severe storms. I'll have more information on that after the break. Welcome back to OU Nightly. Here is a view outside our Norman cam. This is downtown Norman right now. It's beautiful outside. We're sitting in the 60s. Definitely feels like spring. 67 degrees here in Norman with clear skies and light east-southeasterly winds. It's dry as well. That's why our skies are so clear. Dew point's only 38 degrees. So heading forward, temperatures are going to stay on the increase. 65 in Norman by this evening at 6 p.m. So let's play this out through the remainder of the evening, waking up tomorrow in the upper 40s and 50s across the state as well. And then Wednesday afternoon, warmer than today, 71 tomorrow afternoon, and then progressing into Thursday morning, again, waking up in the upper 50s, and then check this out, breaking 80 degrees in northwestern Oklahoma, 84 degrees in Woodward, 75 degrees in Norman. So it's going to be really warm as we head further into this week. And so part of this is due to the winds. Notice tomorrow through the remainder of this evening and tonight, winds will be light. Southerly winds take over the entirety of the state. But then through the afternoon hours tomorrow, winds will ramp up out of the south near 20 miles an hour, gusting even higher. So radar and satellite, we do have rain chances in the forecast as well. Clear skies remain with us through the remainder of this evening, but then into the early morning hours tomorrow, partly to mostly cloudy skies will expand from the west, and that will be the case through the remainder of Wednesday into the day on Thursday. And then by Thursday afternoon in northwestern Oklahoma, we could have some showers and thunderstorms develop. A slight chance of showers and thunderstorms also exists for central Oklahoma late Thursday night. Big story, however, Friday, we do have a chance for severe weather pretty much along the I-35 corridor. Eastward, chance for damaging winds and large hail are the primary threats. And that will be Friday evening and Friday night. So lows tonight, 47 waking up tomorrow morning, 71 for an afternoon high tomorrow in Norman, and then rounding out that forecast, 2 to 7 day forecast. Next 2 days is in the 70s, strong winds tomorrow, and then a chance for severe weather on Thursday. Guys, we might have a light freeze next Monday morning, so definitely bring in those potted plants and cover up any delicate plants in the soil outside as well.
All right, just when you think it's spring, maybe not put out those plants quite yet.
Yeah, just wait a little longer.
All right, thank you, Trey.
Of course.
Perfect, thank you. OU students will celebrate International Trans Awareness Day this Sunday, for the first time on campus. And our installation of trans flag will be on display all week in support of this event, with the hopes that it will bring visibility to transgender community and awareness to campus.
It's really important for all of us to be allies and advocates for this community and to ensure that the individuals that are in our lives, that are in our classrooms, that we pass every day on campus, right, are here to stay and deserve a place on this campus just like anyone else.
You can stop by the OU Gender and Equality Center this week to share a message of support on one of the white flags included in the art display.
And a former Sooner quarterback has a new job this week.
James has the update on Landry Jones' career in the NFL.
That's right, Storme and Tori, the former Sooner signal caller, is packing up and heading to a new team. Plus, Conor McGregor is packing his bag too, but his departure won't be as smooth as Jones's. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to OU Nightly. I'm James Myers, and it's rivalry baseball here in Oklahoma tonight. OU takes on OSU in Stillwater at 6:35. The Sooners are ranked 22 right now and are on a 7-game winning streak. Although both teams are in the Big 12, this will be a non-conference game. And how about a bit of history this afternoon? Kelsey Hovanetz takes us back nearly 4 decades to a PR stunt gone horribly wrong in the Windy City. Kelsey?
Thanks, James. As Major League Baseball's opening day approaches, the 2019 season marks the 40th anniversary of a night that the MLB probably wants you to forget about. Recently, I got the chance to sit down with legendary baseball promoter Mike Veeck to discuss the infamous Disco Demolition Night. On July 12, 1979, the nightcap of a White Sox doubleheader turned into a full-fledged riot at Comiskey Park. A poorly hatched plan to destroy disco records on the field left the park in shambles and nearly cost Veeck his career.
As they slid down the foul pole and jumped onto the field, I thought my life pretty much is over. And I was crushed, and I went right down the sewer, and it took me 10 years to recover from that and to look at it the way I look at it now. I was a failed musician. I always wanted to make Rolling Stone. Well, I did, baby.
I'll have plenty more from my interview with Veeck in the coming weeks, so stay tuned. But in the meantime, back to you, James.
Thanks, Kelsey. Back here in Norman, Sooner freshman Grace Green is the softball Big 12 Player of the Week. This is the first such honor of her career, and it's the 8th Player of the Week award for the Sooners this season. Green led the conference in runs, total bases, and batting average last week. UFC star Conor McGregor announced his retirement Tuesday night. McGregor is one of the MMA's most successful fighters, but his retirement might be met with controversy. McGregor is notorious for getting in trouble with the law. Now, the Irish police are investigating him after a woman accused him of sexual assault. And former OU quarterback Landry Jones is heading to the Oakland Raiders. Jones spent his first 5 years in the NFL with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and briefly played for the Jacksonville Jaguars last season. He's expected to compete for the backup spot. The OKC Thunder fell on the road to the Grizzlies last night by a score of 115 to 103. The Thunder couldn't keep pace with the hot-shooting Grizz, while Memphis had 5 players tally double figures. In the loss, Paul George poured in 30 points, but Russell Westbrook only came up with 16. OKC hosts the Indiana Pacers tomorrow night at Chesapeake Arena. The New York Mets signed an extension with ace pitcher Jacob deGrom. He won the National League Cy Young Award in 2018 after compiling a 1.70 ERA on the season. The contract is a 5-year deal for a whopping $137 million. And finally, Stephen A. Smith, an ESPN commentator famous for stirring the pot, had an unlikely intruder when a bird soared through his office window. Here's Smith's take on the incident.
It wasn't coming at me because it was quiet. It was disgusted with some of my takes. It came to my office because it missed me. It missed me. It was sad.
Guys, the coverage just isn't fair. Stephen A. Smith gets an interview. The bird doesn't even get a post-game press conference.
Oh boy, a lot of people appreciate that bird, I think, on the receiving end of Stephen A. Smith's criticism.
Well, I hope that bird is okay.
Thank you, James.
While many of us are settling back in for spring break, one college student's good deeds over the break have gone viral.
What he did and the viral pictures up next.
Welcome back to OU Nightly. I'm Taylor Cox at the Update Desk. A Southwest Boeing 737 MAX 8 plane made an emergency landing in Orlando today. Southwest was relocating the plane from Orlando to California. Orlando TV station WFTV reports the 2 pilots on board reported engine problems and returned to Orlando after an 11-minute flight. This follows the grounding of Boeing 737 MAX 8s in the country and around the world. Back to you guys at the desk.
All right, thank you for following that breaking story, Taylor. Many of us are still settling in after a relaxing spring break trips, but one Atlanta college student set out to make a positive difference over the break. While 19-year-old Joshua Caraway's friends were having fun in the sun, he was picking up after them.
He came to South Florida with his friends, but couldn't get any of them to help out. He did catch the eye of a Miami Beach police officer, though, who snapped these now viral pictures.
Since returning to Atlanta, Joshua's vowed to never hang up the trash bag and to keep cleaning up the planet.
Well, Trey, you're here with a allergy report for us, right?
Yes, yeah. So with the warmer temperatures comes those allergies, and so the tree pollen is rather high, and that will be the case if you've seen the Bradford pear trees. They're all blooming outside, as well as the red buds. Cedar pollen is also extremely high. So that's why if you're sneezing, if your eyes are watering, that's why.
All right, thanks for following that, Trey.
Of course.
And thank you for watching OU Nightly, brought to you by the Gaylord College at the University of Oklahoma.
We'll see you right back here tomorrow night, live at 4:30.
Have a great evening.
Good night.